Hello everyone, welcome. I'm Deidre Isaacs-Haylock, and today we're talking about Powered by Inclusion. Am I in your village? We started our celebrations for this year 2021 Disabilities Week, and we're going to be talking about inclusion, consciousness, and empathy. Stay with us.
I'm in Standard 5 and I go to St. Vincent Pallo TRC School. The team inspired me to work with others even in the pandemic. I had to sit in front of a screen for 45 minutes trying to learn violin. Other than the violin, I also got better at chess. I beat my whole family. I believe chess is helping me strategize the best moves, make decisions, and solve problems.
Umar put a lot of effort into the essay. He got limited assistance from school.
I had to make posters digitally with Pages, Word, and PowerPoint, which he never did before. Because I am on the internet, I learned more about stranger risks and internet safety. We would not have started using computers this early if pandemic didn't come.
I believe that this is a good initiative by BEL because students are given an opportunity to express themselves through writing, and at the same time it provides some sort of support for the schools. The cash prize means a whole lot for our school. It came in an opportune time when we were completing our bathroom project.
I would like to thank BEL for giving me the opportunity to join this competition.
Bundle the fastest, most reliable, unlimited broadband in Belize with your prepaid or postpaid mobile plan or Netflix. You can bundle your broadband with your prepaid and enjoy 50% off all national calls, plus get SMS and data. Paid plans? Then bundle with any speed and pay only $25 extra monthly to enjoy unlimited smart-to-smart calls, plus 500 minutes, plus 6,300 megabytes of data. Stream unlimited HD movies and TV shows with our broadband, plus the Netflix add-on for only $30 monthly, and enjoy streaming on your laptop, TV, phone, or tablet. Visit a smart showroom near you to sign up or upgrade to the bundle that's right for you. Smart, bringing people together.
It's almost time when we change the drums for the Christmas bells. And you know that when Christmas season starts, we celebrate big at Channel 5. How big? It's our 30th anniversary. That's right, the Big 3-0. And this year's Gimme 5 will be packed with fun, entertainment, and big giveaways. The show starts on December 6th and runs through December 10th, starting at 7:30 p.m. nightly. Coupons are now available for 25 cents each on our Channel 5 website and at our studios on Coney Drive. Fill out your coupons and bring them into our compound. And remember, starting December 6th, when the phone rings, don't say hello, say, "Gimme 5." Gimme 5.
Welcome back. This is Powered by Inclusion. Am I in your village? We're talking persons with disabilities and celebrating Disabilities Week all through this week. And we want to celebrate the lives of our persons living with disabilities. We want to celebrate and support families that support our persons with disabilities, and also recognize organizations who have been given long-standing service to this portion of our population. It's about inclusion. It's about getting them to be fully integrated into our community, and to let us become more conscious of how do we accommodate and how do we include persons so that they can live as full a life as we all would like to do. I have with us today Carla Ayers Musa, who's the Executive Director of the Belize Council for the Visually Impaired. She will be joining us via Zoom. And beside me, I have a most beautiful young lady, Joanny Cortez, and her mom, Carmen Cortez, who traveled to be with us in studio from San Pedro. And I was just telling Joanny how jealous I am that she lives in such a beautiful place. She can feel that soothing breeze and hear the lapping of the waters. Aren't you jealous, Carla?
Yes, I'm on Zoom.
So let's start with you introducing yourself and a bit about the organization that you've been serving for the past few years. Carla.
So you mentioned I am the executive director of the Belize Council for the Visually Impaired, and I have been with the organization going on probably about 20 years. And obviously that's a long time for me, but the organization has been around for 40 years. So there's a lot of work that's been done from the people who founded the organization in the 80s, the organizations and partners that have helped us grow, the support from ministries and from our patients and our international doctors, but especially the connection that we have with our clients and families like Joanny and Miss Carmen. We have a lot to be thankful for. We have come a long way in the last 40 years, and we look forward to continuing to serve our country.
Well, congratulations, Carla, and congratulations to all of you there at BCVI. It couldn't have been an easy challenge to keep an organization going for 40 years, giving such critical service. We welcome that you're still with us and that you're still making such a great impact. I'd like Joanny to introduce herself just a little bit. Joanny, would you like to say your name and how old you are for us, please?
My name is Joanny. I'm 7 years old. I go to ACES.
Okay, you go to ACES.
Yeah.
And tell me what you like most when you're able to go to school and be in school.
I love doing homework.
Wow. Mom, she must be a very studious girl, because I'm not sure there are many children who would say they love doing homework. So tell us a little bit about yourself, Miss Carmen.
Being with Joanny is, at first it was like, when I got the news about her disability, it was like running crazy, you know. It was hard to deal with it. But when I came to our first camp at Bcvi at Stella Maris and met other kids and other parents and began with the challenges with Joanny, everything just became fun and we learned a lot. Trust me, the camps that Bcvi has provided for us got a big load off our backs. That's the right way to say it. The load of being there alone, of not knowing where to turn to, it was such a relief when we got to camp the first time. And I learned a lot. I never knew in my life that something like Braille existed and the other stuff that we do in maths and the Cuba rhythms and stuff. And now, dealing with Joanny, it's such a challenge that became so easy, and we're able to work together with her teachers also that are learning with me. And Joanny is a very bright kid in that sense. Sometimes she's the one teaching me.
Awesome, awesome. Carla, Ms. Carmen mentioned something that I'm sure all of us face, that on receiving that news for the first time that your child has a disability, whether it is because they're visually impaired or otherwise, because we must point out that disabilities are seen and unseen. We have physical disabilities and those that you may not immediately recognize. But let's talk a bit about those that you immediately recognize. For example, being visually impaired. How does BCVI walk that path with a family when you first encounter a client and the family that you have to start working with?
Well, that's a very good question. And the answer actually differs with each family. If you could imagine being in the situation, there is a lot of support and counseling, emotional support that goes into helping the family to be able to accept the diagnosis. And like Ms. Carmen said, being at summer camp, that's the only time of the year where we take our clients out of their homes and bring them all together. We work on a system of community-based rehabilitation. And the idea of that is that a child or a person who is blind can function perfectly independently as long as they're given the training, the orientation and mobility, working in school, and it includes family members, it includes the teachers, it includes people in the community, so that when BCVI isn't around, they are able to function as independently as possible. So it really is a holistic approach to being able to support a client, and that one time of the year where all the kids come together, we have realized is just as beneficial for the children who are learning what they need to know going into the following school year as it is for the parents who get to sit together, and we've incorporated parent support groups and meetings. We worked with Mind Health Connect, and parents coming together to share their struggles and to lean on each other is such a therapeutic thing. And I think that that's something that Miss Carmen got the first time she came to our summer camp. And something that is truly, it's emotional for us. And so we understand that emotional component for the families, and we're there, from birth to the golden years to be able to help support as best as possible.
Let's talk a little bit about BCVI and how its services and the organization itself has evolved over time. It's been 40 years. So let's do a quick snapshot on what that has been like over the time in terms of the growth in your services and your outreach and the population that you serve.
Right. Well, unlike most other organizations that deal with eye care throughout the world, BCVI started in 1981 providing services for the blind. We were a small committee of the Red Cross, and then we became independent and autonomous in probably about 1987. And so we had Mr. William Fonseca, Miss Joan Samuels, and Joan Musa, who were the three instrumental people in sort of transitioning BCVI into its own entity. And through that, we started expanding the rehabilitation program. While we were doing that, we realized that there were a lot of people coming to us who simply needed a pair of glasses. So in the 90s, we partnered with an organization in the US called Help the World See, and they are still our partners to this day. And we set up a lab, and we were able to provide primary eye care services that would be able to have a pair of glasses for someone who would otherwise not be able to see and function and live as independently as they would want to. We also started enhancing continued enhancing the rehabilitation program to include the country's only list of people who were blind or severely visually impaired. In the 2000s, we then partnered with the Ministry of Health and with the Lions Club of Belize City to be able to provide surgery for blinding conditions. So things like cataract, treatment for diabetic retinopathy, glaucoma, the leading causes of blindness in Belize. And so today, in 2021, we are celebrating our 40th anniversary, having grown from a staff of 2 to a national countrywide service that provides primary, secondary, and rehabilitation services for all Belizeans, focusing particularly on those most in need. And we have a staff of probably about 25 to 28 throughout the country providing those services. So, it really has been quite an incredible journey, and it still continues to be an incredible journey. And we're really thankful to everyone who has supported us and who continues to support us along the way.
You're thanking your supporters, and my next question is, how do you maintain the longevity of this organization? How do you keep it financially viable? Because I can't imagine that you're recouping a great deal of the expenses and needs of the organization from your clients. A lot of the population that you serve come from within a bracket of need. So how do you sustain an organization to grow, to have a countrywide presence as you have?
Well, starting out, we were fully funded by Sight Savers International, which is a UK-based organization that deals in prevention of blindness and treatment of blinding conditions. And in about 2008, they started to withdraw funding, and they helped us develop a sustainability plan. And really, where the majority of our income comes from is in our fees for services. So we are able to, through the NGO that we work with in the US, source the most affordable options for glasses. and we have fees for those glasses for those who can afford it, and we work on an assistance program for those who aren't able to afford it. And it's through those fees for services in primary eye care and secondary eye care, so treatment, laser treatment, surgeries, that we are able to stay sustainable. And it has a lot to do with being able to find high quality, affordable options so that we can work along with our patients to make sure that everyone who comes into our clinics walks out with what they need.
Well, that portion of your service is probably the part that people are most familiar with, being able to come in and get services for your eyes, walk away with the glasses, or maybe receive an appointment for a visiting team of medics who will perform some kind of a surgery or a service. So that part of your services may be well known. The part that may not be so well known publicly may be the parts that are directed directly at your clients. And we have one of your clients in with us. So I want to talk about the work that you do with schools to be able to have smart, intelligent young ladies like Joannie remain in school and be able to get an education and grow to their fullest potential.
It really starts with the family. You have to have that support at home to be able to continue what we teach at summer camp or what we teach on a one-on-one basis with the clients in their homes and their schools. We provide support to the child and to the teachers to be able to help adapt lessons to make them accessible for the clients that are in school. We work along with the schools in general before the child enters to sort of sensitize them to the situation. And then once that child is at home, it really has a lot to do with the work that Ms. Carmen, for example, has put into her child. And I think that's the case throughout the country, right? You know, a child has to have the support of the parents or guardians or community and the schools to be able to succeed.
Okay, Joannie, tell me, what did you like most about working with Bcvi? Which one of their services and activities did you enjoy the most?
When they checked my eye.
You like that. And what do you say to your friends at school when they ask you about being blind and not being able to see? What do you tell them? They might think that that must be very challenging. What do you tell them?
I tell them that they checked my eye.
You checked your eyes. And do they seem interested in how you do your work at school and how you're able to read the same books they read? They get interested in that? Yeah, they ask about that?
Yeah.
Yeah? What do you miss most now that you're not in school? That you're not able to go to school every day like you did before?
I miss the school.
You miss being actually in the school, right? With the teacher there and all the friends laughing. You miss that?
Yes.
Yes. And Ms. Carmen, let me just ask you, what would you say, having walked this walk with your daughter, what would you say to a family who's received that diagnosis for the first time? What is it? Let us end on that note. What would you say to them?
If they have not registered their child to Bcvi, and we promote it a lot, we've met other kids in the island, and the first question that comes to my head is, have you registered your child? Is your child attending the Bcvi programs? Because like Joannie, she's going to school, but all her braille machine, all her paper is provided by Bcvi. Every stuff that she needs for school is provided. And thanks to the good Lord, Joannie has a scholarship in a very good school. So she's doing fine. And so to any parent out there that has this diagnosis, register your child. Just register your child. They will see a big change. They will learn a lot.
Well, thank you definitely for that. And Carla, just one last note before we wrap this session. What is the support that the general community can give to Bcvi and organizations like those as we continue to do this work to serve our people?
I think the last couple years for everybody have just been incredibly tumultuous and uncertain. And I think that NGOs throughout the country, businesses and especially NGOs throughout the country, can see the huge change in how we have had to adapt and evolve. And right now, we NGOs are needed more than ever. And I think what we need from the community is that care and that compassion and that concern. And if you know that you wake up and you ask yourself, what am I doing to help people with disabilities? What am I doing to help people in need? I think that's really what we need. We need people to be compassionate and be empathetic. And as far as the organization goes, we're going to continue serving. We continue providing primary eye care services and glasses. We're thankful that next year we have our surgical team starting to come back. Hopefully everything goes okay with COVID and the pandemic, and they're still able to come back in. So we're just happy to be able to help as many people as possible, and we appreciate patients continuing to access care through our organization.
Well, thank you again, and allow me to extend our gratitude to Joannie for traveling to be here with us, for Ms. Carmen to share her experience, the work that Bcvi does. Thank you, Carla. Thanks to your team. And we will be right back, where we will have a discussion with 3 young persons living with disabilities, but showing us that with empathy and support and consciousness, we can allow all to have a full life. We'll be back.
My name is Omar Deshiod. I'm in Standard 5 and I go to St. Vincent Pallo TRC School. The team inspired me to work with others even in the pandemic. I had to sit in front of a screen for 45 minutes trying to learn violin. Other than the violin, I also got better at chess. I beat my whole family. I believe chess is helping me strategize the best moves, make decisions, and solve problems.
Umar put a lot of effort into the essay. He got limited assistance from school.
I had to make posters digitally with Pages, Word, and PowerPoint, which he never did before. Because I am on the internet, I learned more about stranger risks and internet safety. We would not have started using computers this early if pandemic didn't come.
I believe that this is a good initiative by BEL because students are given an opportunity to express themselves through writing, and at the same time it provides some sort of support for the schools. The cash prize means a whole lot for our school. It came in an opportune time when we were completing our bathroom project.
I would like to thank BL for giving me the opportunity to join this competition.
It's a fact that your credit lasts longer when using Smart. During these times, we're all trying to find ways to cut costs and save the little resources we have. With Smart, it's easy to do that. It's a fact that with Smart, your credit lasts longer. You can call Smart to Smart and Smart to Digi using your promo credit, while with the other guy, you can only call OnNet, Digi, or BTL numbers. What does this mean? You get to call any national number using your promo credit. Your promo credit is free, so that call is also free. Know your facts. Don't be tricked by the other guy. Be smart and save your dollars.
Yes, and we're back for segment 2 of Powered by Inclusion, Am I in Your Village? At this point, we're going to be joined by 3 of our young persons living with disabilities. And as we mentioned earlier, very briefly in the first segment, a disability can be seen and it can be physical and very visible, but it doesn't make it any less of a disability. And so we have to be very conscious, and our discussion today is precisely to sensitize and educate persons. So I'll let our 3 smart young persons introduce themselves. I'll start first with the young lady right here beside me. Could you tell us your name and how old you are?
Okay.
You can stay sitting and you and I can just chat. So tell me your name and how old are you?
My name is Fatima.
Okay, Fatima, your last name is Del Cid, right? How old are you?
I'm 9 years old.
Yeah? What school do you go to and what class are you in?
I'm in the Standard 3.
Wow.
I go to Horizon Academy.
Wow, that's very good. Now, can I have our next guest here introduce herself for us? Could you?
My name is Alyssa. I'm 14 years old. I go to Wester College. I'm in second form.
Okay, and finally, Gabrielle?
My name is Gabriel Fuche. I'm 26 years old. I graduated from St. John's College, aspiring for my bachelor's degree in cybersecurity. And I currently work at Full Tech Systems.
Okay. So, Alyssa, let's talk a little bit more about being in high school. You're visually impaired. Tell us a little bit about what that experience was like for you trying to get into high school in the first place.
We applied to different schools. That was St. Catherine's Academy, Belize High School, Nazarene, and EPR. It was SCA, EPR, and Belize High School and Nazarene who turned me down, and I was really sad. I was devastated. I also applied to Wester College, which I got in, and I'm very happy there.
So tell us what that experience is like, and what are some of the adaptations that you are aware of that the school had to make sure that you were fully accommodated daily at school, when we were able to go to school, that is?
People have to read stuff to me, like a question or so in class, and I would answer that question. When it was the first day when we had to introduce ourselves, I told all the teachers that I was visually impaired. They didn't have a problem with it.
What was that adjustment like? You were in high school with your peers, all of your same age, male and female. What was the curiosity like from your other peers? How was that interaction for you? What was that experience?
They didn't really say anything. They didn't really say anything at all about that.
It was just as if normal, right?
Just as if normal.
And you think that should send a message to the rest of us too, that opportunity should be given to those who are visually impaired or have other disabilities?
Yes, ma'am.
What's that message that you would like them to get from your experience being in high school?
That people should apply to more high schools, and the people who do those applications, that they should accept people for who they are, not because of what they are.
Indeed. Now, Gabriel, you're working.
Yes, ma'am.
Tell us a little bit about that.
Well, the journey started about 6 years ago, because I'm currently with Full Tech for 6 years. And so it was at first a very demoralizing process. I sum it up to that. But with persistence, it paid off. Applying to in the excess of about 25 applications sent out. Got responses from about 10, with responses like my resume spoke for itself, but they are not in the position to accommodate because of being physically disabled, and so they would, although they want to accept, they're not in a position to accept. And so that was the responses from most. The only company who I got back a yes from was from Full Tech, who said that they were, I understood that it would have been a challenge, but with the right mindset and the commodities and different alterations to the building structure and things of that sort, that it would, it could be just with some little effort that it could be achieved, and justifiably so after 6 years. It has been achieved. They achieved it, and they continue to do up to 6 years. After 6 years, still there's some tweaking that has been and continue to be done to get it right. And that's just to show that with effort, anything can be achieved. And so, thank you to Full Tech for taking on the obstacle. It's not an insurmountable one, but it was an obstacle, and so they managed to get it done.
Awesome. Tell me for you, how do you spend your days? What stuff do you enjoy doing? Let us get to know you a little bit more.
Well, I go swimming.
You can swim all on your own?
Yes.
Did you have to do swimming classes?
Yes.
Yeah? And that was fun?
Well, I went to the river.
Wow, that's very challenging. You seem not to be afraid of anything. You seem to love challenges. How do you pass your days with mommy? You tell me you're the only baby for mommy. So tell me, how do you spend your days with mommy now that you don't have to be in school every single day, and because of COVID, you're home? How do you pass your days with mommy?
Well, we do spend the summer.
And what do you do over your time at home?
We eat tacos. We went on a trip.
You did all that fun stuff. And does mommy work with you on the school lessons as well, now that you have to do it online and maybe getting some packages as well? Or are you back in school now?
Back in Horizon Academy.
You're back in school. Were you happy to go back when they said that you could come back and everybody could be in class together again?
Yes.
Tell me, what is your favorite subject?
Math, social studies, and art, and grammar.
Wow. Math, social studies, grammar. Those are 3 challenging subjects. You must be very bright. I bet if I ask Teacher Christy, she'll say, yep. She'll agree with me?
Yep. Yeah.
I heard her. She said, yep. So, Gabriel, let's talk a little bit more, and I want yourself and Fatima and Alyssa to tell me, what would you like people to realize about persons with disabilities, and how could we make some adjustments to the way we do things to be more inclusive?
I think, well, in my observation, it all stems from fear, right? No one wants to go into a losing battle. So they all feel like when you look at someone with a disability, it's going to be a lot of challenges, and it's going to be liabilities on companies, on schools, on everything of that sort. And it's never the case. I mean, we all could look at the abilities rather than the disability. We all have abilities. We are all smart. We are going through school. I've been through that process, and now doing my going through the educational process as well, because I'm still doing copious courses online and working during the day. So it's just look at the abilities rather than the disability. Forget the disability. Look at what the person is capable of doing, and with that, then your business will succeed. The school will end up looking good because you have conquered what everybody else was scared to do, and that's how Full Tech did it, and that's how St. John's College did it when I went there. That's how Holy Redeemer did it when I went there. And everything stemmed off with a bit of fear, but once you erase that fear and you get your foot through the door, you realize that it's a walk in the park.
At school, Alyssa, how did you break the ice to have friends? Were you able to form good friends?
No.
And why do you think that is difficult?
When we introduce ourselves, I say I'm visually impaired. I think that's the reason why, because even in primary school, it wasn't always like that. It was from standard 6 that I would be in the classroom by myself with no one in. Everybody would be outside. Even if I go outside, no one talks with me. Now in high school, it's the same. Even when we were at face-to-face class, me and my aide would just sit down and talk. She's the only friend I have apart from my family members, my mom, my sister. I don't have no friends.
Do you think that that's because people are afraid, they don't know what to say, they're afraid that they might say the wrong things?
I really don't know what to say. The only friend I have is a little girl named Jamilette White. She's the only friend I have that I could actually talk to.
And what would you say to other people your age, to other girls and boys your age who come in contact with persons with disabilities? What would you say to them in relation to that experience that you had, not being able to make friends, and for them to try? What would you say to them?
Just be yourself. We're just like everybody else. We're just like everybody else. All you need to do is talk. Making friends is not hard to do.
And you, Fatima, do you have friends at school?
Yeah.
Yeah? Good friends at school?
Yes.
Yeah? Who's your best teacher at school?
Miss Elia.
And why do you like Miss Elia? Tell me.
Well, we do measuring cups, we do clock, we do fractions, we do 2 times table.
And she's nice.
Yes, and we do money.
And you do money. You like learning about money.
Yes.
That's very good. No
$20
wonder you like
bill.
that. Gabriel, I'd like to close with a comment from you. I want you to reach out to your peers. You heard what Alyssa said about her experience to get in school, to make friends. You know your experience to get a job. I would like you to give a message to our community during this Disabilities Week on what's the mindset we're all supposed to have to achieve the inclusion that our theme for the week talks about.
I think something that I'll just reiterate what I said earlier. I think it all stems from people not wanting to be in their comfort zone and not being able to come, or not wanting to come out, or having the fear to come out. In terms of, it all stems from people with disabilities that people are afraid to approach us because we're different. We're different in quotes because we're not really different. In terms of we're human beings, we thought we might express ourselves in a different way, but we are human beings, and we all have personalities. We all have things we like, we don't like, and so we're not aliens. So don't be afraid to approach us. And obstacles are something that everybody has, and so don't look at any of us as a roadblock, or it's a light at the end of the road. With effort, and everything can be achieved. And so I'll end off by saying, look at the abilities of a person and not necessarily the disability or the physical disability, what you could see, because disabilities could be both physical, mental. There are different types of disabilities. And so get to know us. We're open to talk to anyone. And I speak for every disabled person, because there's not a disabled person, whether physically, whether visual, that I've met that has not been more loving and more open to communication, more open to just interaction and things of that sort. That's all we want.
Well, thank you, Gabriel. You're so right, because the three of you have been very open to us, very interactive, very expressive. And so we'd like to tell everybody else, the show continues with our third segment, but not disabled, just differently abled. Let's open our arms, open our minds, welcome and include. We'll be right back.
Everybody wants to get back to normal, but that is not the reality. My name is Corey Henkis. I am in Standard 6 and I am from La Isa Cariñosa Academy. Things won't be the same, but we can have a new normal. I think without realizing it, we already have a new normal. We must wear masks once we leave the house to go anywhere. We need to use hand sanitizer much more than before, or wash our hands more often. Some people now have fast food businesses. Some sell clothes online and some do home delivery run-man services. This is their new normal. The main message is we all need to do our part to stay safe so that we can go back to the things that make us happy. Thank you, BL.
Bringing people together has always been SMART's mission and passion. That is why we are proud to have built a locally independent quality network from the ground up that spans the country with over 100 sites. We continue to add more affordable mobile data packages, broadband speeds, and voice services to meet your personal and business needs. SMART has set the standard of true competition with the most competitive prices on all services offered. We invite and welcome you to join the SMART family, where the value for your dollar matters. Smart will continue bringing new technologies, more affordable prices, network expansions, and people together. Smart, bringing people together.
It's almost time when we change the drums for the Christmas bells. And you know that when Christmas season starts, we celebrate big at Channel 5. How big? It's our 30th anniversary. That's right, the Big 3-0. And this year's Gimme 5 will be packed with fun, entertainment, and big giveaways. The show starts on December 6th and runs through December 10th, starting at 7:30 p.m. nightly. Coupons are now available for 25 cents each on our Channel 5 website and at our studios on Coney Drive. Fill out your coupons and bring them into our compound. And remember, starting December 6th, when the phone rings, don't say hello, say, "Gimme 5." Gimme 5.
Welcome back, and we're powered by inclusion. Am I in your village? We're in the middle of celebrating Disabilities Week for 2021. That's our team for this week, and we have with us 4 professionals who've been working with our civil society organizations and bringing consciousness to the entire Belizean population on persons with disabilities, persons with diverse abilities. The message today is be inclusive, be empathetic, be conscious, and think of it as differently abled, not disabled. Right, Marshall?
Indeed, thanks very much. And for us who are living with disability, we are only disabled by the one disability we have, but we are able by all the other abilities. And so see us for our abilities.
So tell us a little bit, Marshall. Introduce yourself and let us know what Marshall Nunes has been up to lately. I know you're at the Disabilities Desk. Tell us a little bit about that.
Yes, it's indeed an honor. And since at the Disability Desk, I think it was incumbent on me I am the coordinator, to coordinate the stakeholder agencies. And I think since being appointed to the desk, we have successfully been able to coordinate the very many stakeholders that are working with persons with disability in this country. And for the first time, we were able to put forth the National Disability Conference, which is a great accomplishment.
Great, great. Nice to have you. Christy, I want you to introduce yourself, but also introduce your organization. Because one of the things that people have to be mindful about is that visibility, not all disabilities are visible.
Right.
And so empathy and open-mindedness is critical. So introduce yourself and talk to us a little bit about your organization.
My name is Christy Castillo Almeida. I am the founder and executive chair of Autism Belize. I started Autism Belize in April of 2020, so we're probably the youngest organization in all the planning, in the committee here, planning for this week. We focus mainly, we say autism, but we have in our family of our other special needs disabilities. We have people with Down syndrome, parents of kids with other learning disabilities that all participate with us. And we've mainly focused on teaching and educating the public. So we teach autism, we promote acceptance, provide support, and promote awareness and show acceptance. And that's really for us, the core is about teaching. We try and help our parents understand their child and how they can help their child. We teach teachers how they can better work with our kids, and we try and teach the public more about what this is. And because it's an invisible thing, sometimes we'll see a child and we think, oh my gosh, they're behaving rude, or they're doing this or that, and you don't understand there's a lot to those behaviors. And I say child, and it's one of my weaknesses right now, is that we have a lot of families right now with teens, young adults who are struggling as well because they aren't in school or getting jobs. And so now we're really trying this 2022, we want to try to look at that portion of our community and see how we can help them integrate better into society, and let you guys know we're here and we have capabilities, things we can do. and that we deserve to be a part of the community. You know, we shouldn't just be locked away.
Definitely. We heard in our last segment 2 of our young persons talk about their path to try to get accepted into secondary school.
Yes.
And to get a job and in mainstream workplaces and be able to just live like we all do. So Martine, would you introduce yourself and tell us a little bit about yourself and your organization and what you do in line with what we're celebrating this week?
Sure. So I represent Mind Health Connect, which I co-founded with a dear friend of mine a couple years ago, Sahar. And what we are an advocacy group. And basically similar to what Christy shared just now is really bringing awareness, bringing information, and letting people know that there's support. You know, I think we would get, as a counselor and many others, we would get calls all the time just asking for help or at least where to go for help. And then you have those who can pay, those who can't, those who just don't know and are panicking. So that's how Mind Health Connect Belize came about. And so we have a website, it's a directory. You go on the website and we have tried to the best of our abilities to list as many resources as you can get in Belize for mental health. And so, for example, you would find the other organizations on our website as well. So if you have a child and their particular needs, or an adult, you can go to the website and then you will be guided to the resources that you need. If you can't get it on the website, then you call a number, you write an email. And so the idea again is let's talk about it, let's have the difficult conversations, because the suffering alone, or the only way we're going to decrease stigma and increase empathy is if we talk about it. If it's, you know, and you all shared today, you know, the kids that were on earlier, how powerful that is to have those stories heard. And so this conference, you know, and all conferences like this are such a great space to be able to share information and let people know that it's okay to talk, it's okay to ask for help, and it's the only way we're going to get through the difficulties and inclusion becomes possible. I mean, and again, with mental health, it's invisible, it's an abstract concept in many areas, and so that makes discrimination so much easier because it's not like you can see, you know, the physical wound there. And so, but it's very real, and we need to talk about it to really change the story.
Well, Martine, you said a lot there about having a voice and acknowledging that persons with disabilities do have a voice and deserve to be heard. We definitely heard our young people in the last segment, and one voice that we've been hearing consistently over the years is back with us again this segment, which is Carla. So Carla, welcome back for us, and maybe for you, in reintroducing yourself this segment, maybe you could tell us what is it you hope that we'll walk away with after this 7 days. It's 7 days of, and I say a celebration because we need to celebrate. It's not something to be hidden. It's something to be celebrated and recognized. So what do you hope we accomplish at the end of our 7 days of consciousness and celebration?
Well, as you mentioned, Bcvi has been working on this, on awareness and acceptance and sensitization, education of the public, and even education of some of our government ministries for decades. And, you know, we've seen many plans and conventions signed onto and just shelved. And so it's like, okay, well, we did all the work, and now what? There's a beautiful, you know, plan somewhere sitting on a shelf somewhere. And we mentioned our conference that we're having, and the hope from that conference is to be able to develop a framework for a national policy on disabilities. And my hope is that after the 7 days, that policy will be used, or that framework will be developed, and things will be implemented, because, you know, this whole theme, powered by inclusion, am I in your village? We're asking if people with disabilities are being included in our villages, but it's a two-way thing, in my opinion, because those of us who are working know that we're doing everything we can, right? We're providing all the services, we're educating who we can, but we're just not reaching far enough. And so the question is, how good are we, or how impactful are we at including people who want to help, people who are not assigned to a ministry or assigned to an organization, people who don't have a disability, who are not exposed to other people with disabilities, but who would really want to help. And so, like Martine said, the conversation is important. We have to continue the conversation after the 7 days. We cannot develop what I'm sure is going to be a beautiful framework and just leave it on a shelf somewhere. So, we're really looking for more progress and more impact, and for people to actually really genuinely start caring once they know what the situation is and they're educated in, the issue with disabilities and access and equality.
Well, you hear Carla talk about planning and strategizing and opening the doors both ways. It's a first appointment to have a disabilities desk in Belize. And, our knee-jerk reaction is, just another desk, just another salary. What are we going to accomplish? So I want to give Marshall an opportunity to tell me a little bit more about what that desk is gearing at and trying to accomplish for our persons with disabilities and the persons in that segment of our population.
The vision of the desk is to use whatever technical methods available to improve the quality of life for persons that are living with disabilities and their families. And the mission is to see how we can establish a very comprehensive network of stakeholders that can provide services and empower persons with disability. And so from the desk, that is what we have gotten started. We start reaching out to all the stakeholders, and we believe that we are stronger in numbers. Overall in Belize, services have been available, people have been doing things, but everybody was working in isolation. And so from the desk, I think it is a responsibility to bring all the stakeholders together. And I think for this year and the planning and celebration of this week, we were able to bring many of the stakeholders together. Also, a part of the responsibility of the desk is to guide the government. The desk is a part of the Ministry of Human Development, Family and Indigenous People Affairs, and it is the responsibility of the desk to guide the government in the ways that they can play a part in improving the quality of living for persons with disabilities. And that is the reason why we talk about going to policy and later on legislation, because, as I said, a lot of things have been going on and things have been done, but is there a regulatory commitment to ensure that it happens? No, not so far. And so the government, and this government, under its Plan Belize manifesto, has really and truly proved that they want to do things for persons living with disability. And so part of the responsibility of the desk is to find the way to guide the government to doing just that.
Well, we've made the first step in the sense that Belize has signed and ratified the Convention for Persons with Disabilities. We haven't opted on to the protocol to report. And my immediate question is that reduces the spotlight internationally in terms of our accountability. Because with CEDAW, which is for the elimination of all forms of violence against women, we have to report periodically on that. And for the Convention on the Rights of the Child, we also have to report. So quickly, Marshall, is that one of the steps you'd like to see the country make, that we sign on to that optional protocol to report on our progress?
Absolutely. The optional protocol is by the regulators, that's just that, an option. But when we have a policy and we have legislation, then the country, because the legislation and the policy should bring us in conformity with the convention, once we have those domestic legislation, then the state is obligated by those legislation and convention to provide the service. If we are failing as a state, then that optional protocol exists where we can go to a higher authority, perhaps to the UN, to say that these things are not forthcoming in our country. And so the protocol is a must, but we also need to put policy and legislation in place.
Martin, you talked about having a conversation and recognizing the voice. And you were speaking specifically towards mental health, but broadly as well. And I want to ask you, how can we, in our own individual right, members of our community, ensure that that voice for our persons living with disabilities is heard and is given space?
I think words, that's one of the probably the more easily accessible ones. Choose your words, right? Calling somebody, dismissing someone as crazy versus someone is sick or someone's not at his or her best. All of that matters. I mean, there are many antiquated ways as well as referring to disabilities. And again, one of the things, if you're not sure, check. That's where social media and Google and all these places, if you use credited sites, you can get really good information. So it's not hard if you're not sure and you're interested. Think about it. If those of us who don't have per se any disabilities and certain words are used, we feel hurt or we feel to some extent that our feelings have been insulted. Think about somebody else, right? And so words are very powerful. Be careful, choose your words, think about them. Parents as well, simple things, the way we acknowledge a child, how the child is feeling, Again, the difference between how boys and girls are treated. Boys stop crying and then you hug up the little girl and you cry. No, let the boy cry or let the boy name his feelings as well. Those are little things that we get so much into just the everyday running of life that we forget how powerful they can be. And then again, if someone's not feeling well, stop and ask, how are you feeling? What's going on? Try not to ask the what's wrong with you question, more like what's happening right now or how can I help? If you don't know what to say or what to do, how can I help you? How can I support you? I'm here. It's not necessarily always that we can fix things, and that is where Mind Health Connect and all of us here is that we don't have magic per se, but we can lend support, we can listen, we can brainstorm ideas. And so every day is really when life happens, right? And so it is literally in the little things. How can I help you? Teenagers are having a really difficult time right now, and it's sometimes hard for parents to connect. And so again, ask, how can I help? Or remind, I am here. And you're lazy, you never amount to nothing. Words like that don't help anybody, much less people who are growing up trying to figure out life. So there are many small ways that we can do that. And one of the last things I want to say as we're talking about parenting and even to each other is just stop and really listen. So put down our phones, put down whatever we're doing and really and truly listen to each other, because a lot of times we think we are, but we really are not, and then we miss what is really being communicated. And so those are little ways, and I'll just summarize because there's so many. Be careful of our words. Also, emotions are a natural part of life, and so this antiquated idea of, just forget about it and
suck it up.
Yeah, that's not so much working anyway. And you add the anxiety of a pandemic and it's not really working out well. And last, listen, put down the phones and really let's listen to each other and really hear what is being said.
Well, it's been an interesting week. It's been an interesting past few minutes talking through our different segments. But unfortunately, we have to wrap up for this time around. And I'd just like to give...
Ask Christy to make a very special announcement.
Yes, I was just going to give Christy that opportunity to just wrap up and thank the persons that allowed us to celebrate each day during this week. And I understand that the conference yielded quite a surprise at the end, and so let Christy just spend a couple minutes on that.
All our speakers are fantastic, and the breakout groups are great, so we can work on this policy and hopefully do get the optional protocol signed. But one of our speakers from the Belize Chamber of Commerce and Industry, Catherine Main, announced a new micro, small, and medium business enterprise grant option. And so persons with disabilities who are interested in expanding their business or starting a new business can apply for the grant. It's you can write 2 pages about how you've overcome your disability and what you want to use the money for and your business, or you can do it in a 5-minute video and submit it by December 30th. All these details are on the Belize Chamber of Commerce and Industry's website. This is done between them and the Taiwanese embassy. And so I thought that was, it was towards the end of the conference, and it was really exciting to see that there's already a commitment to realize that we can be included in society, and here, let us help you make that way to inclusion. And so I'm very excited about that grant, and I'm very grateful for the Belize Chamber of Commerce and Industry and the Embassy of Taiwan for putting that together for us.
You also had other sponsors this week, so
we
just
did.
a quick moment too.
Well, this show was, and BEL and SMART are two of my biggest supporters, I think, for Autism Belize. They help us out a lot, so they've funded this this show for the week. We also had sponsorship from MIRAB and the Office of the Special Envoy, who was basically our patron for the conference as well. Everything was led through the Disability Desk of the Ministry of Human Development, Families and Indigenous People, got it right, Ministry of Education, Culture, Science and Technology also played a huge part in helping with the tech work, and a lot of their NARCI officers and everybody was participating as well, and the Inspiration Center provided the location for the conference. And so this whole week has been such a good partnership.
Let me add the Public Utilities Commission. They paid for
the shirts. I don't see, yes. Yeah. And the shirts too. So this has been a real collaborative effort, and I'm just going to poke in. Gabe said from Full Tech, that it's been 6 years and it's still a process. And I think that's what we need to realize as a community. Inclusion isn't just going to be boom. Oh, I've hired someone, now I'm inclusive. It's a process. It means a continuous learning and continuous working together to make sure that the employer is getting what he needs, that the employee is getting what he needs, that everybody else is too. So it's not just about a school accepting a child or hiring someone and then telling them to figure it out. It really needs to be a conscious effort that we constantly do. And so I always kind of cringe when somebody says, oh, but we're inclusive, because I'm like, really? Really? We've got to really think about this for it. And so as we go along at the end of the week, every day after that, 2022, if every now and again we just stop and ask ourselves, am I in your village? Am I doing what I can to make sure everybody's included from all walks of life, disabilities, cultures, whatever? That's what I want you to focus on. Take that away, and every now and again let it pop in your head. Am I in your village? Am I consciously and actively, encouraging this sort of community acceptance? Because if we become an inclusive society, I think so much of our problems will just kind of drastically go right down, honestly.
Well, you said a mouthful, and thank you very much, Marshall.
Yes, I just want to express my heartfelt gratitude to the planning committee for the week. I mean, there was a really dedicated committee across section of stakeholders, but really committed and did a phenomenal job, and I got to express my gratitude. Thank you all so very much.
Thank you, Carla, for being there with us. Thank you, Martine. Thank you all. Thank you, Channel 5, Great Belize Television. Powered by inclusion. Am I in your village? Let's remember, not just for today, not just for this week, but it's a process. Thank you.
Powered by inclusion. Am I in your village? Let's stop the discrimination. Hold my hand. I'm powered by inclusion. Am I in your village? Let's work hand in hand. Hold my hand. I'm powered by inclusion. Am I in your village? Let's stop the discrimination. On the 9th of May 2011, Belize signed a convention on the rights of persons with disabilities that I must mention. Listen to me, let me sing it clear. Because of my disabilities, stop treating me unfair. Put away your prejudice, give us opportunities. We can reach our full potential in this world today. Hold my hand, I'm powered by inclusion. Am I in your village? Let's stop the discrimination. Hold my hand, I'm powered by inclusion. Am I in your village? Let's work hand in hand. Hold my hand, I'm powered by inclusion. Am I in your village? Let's stop the discrimination. Despite of my disability, I am human too. I need food, clothing and shelter, just like you. We need more laws for our protection. All leaders, my people, we need to see more action. Disability is not inability. I am surely here for you. Hold my hand, I'm powered by inclusion. Am I in your village? Let's stop the discrimination. Hold my hand, I'm powered by inclusion. Am I in your village? Let's work hand in hand. Hold my hand, I'm powered by inclusion. Am I in your village? Let's stop the discrimination.